Just let it all hang out. Say something real. Say something real. Hey, girl. Say something real. Won't you say something real, girl? Say something real. Do 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 do, baby. Say something real. Say something real. Say something real.
Good morning, good morning. What's happening, family? Welcome to the show this morning. Michelle Bryant here at WNOV 860 AM 106.5 FM. Say something real. And real talk, Debo about to get cussed out of here. It is 7:01 a.m. Hide your children, because I'm about to clown Debo. Oh my God. Like, Mrs. I don't know how you be bothered. You know, we doing a little morning prep, getting ready for the show to start, and my man Jermaine Rideout is sitting in the producer seat today, and Debo sitting in Carvey's seat today.
The old switcheroo.
So Debo tells him, "Yeah, just bring a mic up." You know, yeah, go ahead and turn the mic up. I'm like, hey, bro. That's not what you do from Carvey's seat. We got a producer sitting at the thing, and what happened to me being able to say when I'm ready for the mic to be turned on? What's up this morning, Jay? How you doing this morning?
Listen here, I tell you, it's too early. That slumber is on my back, and
well,
this
look,
dude
you know,
clowning.
it's funny because I get the afternoon, Jay.
Oh man,
so I ain't got you ain't had no shades on.
Listen here,
you looking at her like you at work this morning. In the afternoon, you be looking luxurious.
Hey, right, like I'm on tour in the afternoon.
Yeah.
In the morning, it's the rehearsal.
Concert. Yeah, we got the rehearsal ride out this morning. Look. I don't even want to say that to
cat,
I don't even want to say that to him, man. Oh my God. Yeah. Oh, and they can't hear him either. Oh, that's so great. Hey, I like this setup. Oh. Yes. No, you didn't start to put no microphone over there.
Oh man, like the headphone microphone.
Like no, he don't need nothing over there. Let him just sit over there and press them little buttons. Come tell somebody when to turn my mic on. Oh my God. All right, family. So as you can see, people don't know how to start the morning. You know, some folks just had drama. I'm sorry, what? Oh, what, you put the camera on yourself?
This dude. Right. Zooming to himself.
Because don't nobody never be looking at Carvey. He waved.
Wave was zooming himself. Wave.
No, really. A short glimpse. You know what? Terrible. Again.
Oh my God.
I don't. Where the hell's Carvey at? Right. You stay where you at. But anyway, okay. Welcome to the show this morning. First, let me just check in because it was a lot that went on this weekend. How's your weekend, bro?
It was very productive. Spent some time with my grandson. We didn't get no meat this time.
No.
We didn't get no meat. Though we did pizza this time.
Okay.
So I had an amazing time. He's an amazing young kid, and I love him. So I had a great weekend. How about yourself?
Well, I what I do this weekend? Oh, I did the Outreach Community Center's health resource.
Nice.
Let me just say, there are some people that know how to throw a party. They know how to throw a party.
Yeah.
In terms of the resources that they had available to people, like literally, we ate cabbage yesterday.
Oh.
That we got from purple cabbage too. Oh. That we got from the event. Fresh corn on the cob. I mean, like they had, groceries that you could just pick up, pick out what you wanted. They had a pharmacy on, they have a pharmacy on site.
Yeah.
In the pharmacy bag, I'm talking about all the good products. bag full of stuff.
Nice.
And they had the color Band-Aids now has Band-Aids. I remember I first saw them, I came in and talked about it on the show, that are the color of black people's skin.
Oh.
So, walk around with that big pink Band-Aid on no more. And but it was me and Keisha was talking about yesterday. It's kind of janky because there was a black company that first did that.
Wow.
And then Band-Aid got in on the business. And now we're wondering how the black company is still, if they're still, okay.
Function, yeah.
Yeah, because once the big boys get in the game,
It's
it can turn it upside down for you. But they pulled names to give away 3 tablets.
Yeah.
They gave away $25 gift cards and literally a wealth of information and resources. They did screenings. We had listeners who came down who said, I came and got my mammogram done.
Oh, wow.
I was like, what?
Wow.
So that part was really, really cool. You saw people sitting there getting their blood pressure checked, trying to understand, those numbers because everybody doesn't.
Yeah.
So then I met the president and CEO of the outreach center, and I need to get the correct name so I can say it correctly. But just the coolest sister. You could tell the whole team like gelled and was working really hard.
Yeah.
So that was a cool event. And then, but the big boy, the Cadillac of events, I left there, had to do one other thing, and then immediately headed up to Madison.
Awesome.
So there was the unveiling of the sculpture of Vel Phillips.
Nice.
I went live on Facebook, and it was kind of messed up because I was standing behind the stage because I got up there like just as everything was about to happen. So I just walked to the back behind the stage. But her son, Michael, because her other son is deceased. So Michael, then the folks who helped to pull it together. So everybody was there. All the dignitaries, the Deltas was in the house full force, strong. Vel Phillips was also a Link. So a number of Link sisters were there. Celebrities came in from everywhere.
Nice.
So, one of the most recognizable names, Lorenz Tate.
Nice.
He and his brothers were both there. And I don't know, do you watch Power?
Yeah.
Okay, so one of his brothers is on Power.
Yeah.
He's the police detective or whatever.
Yeah.
So the guy that was introducing them, Michael Johnson, who's the president of the Dane County Boys and Girls Club, he didn't know Lorenz's brothers' names. So he said, and I want to bring up Lorenz Tate and the Tate brothers.
Tate brothers.
And so I'm like, where I'm standing, because at one point I was standing right over Lorenz, his chair, and his brother's chairs was right. I'm standing like literally on his brother's back because they sat right in front of me while I was standing. And so when they got ready to get up and get on the stage, they went by and everything, and we just like talked and dapped up. But it was so crazy because they both looked, and then they just looked across. I was like, yeah, that was kind of, and he did it twice. The Tate brothers
sound like a singing group.
That's what somebody else said. Oh, Keisha said, what was that? From the Temptations when he said, "Did nobody come to see you, Otis?"
Oh, did nobody come to see you, Otis?
it was kind of messed up. I was like, "Come on, bro." You and I mean, like, and I don't know his other brother that well, but I know the one brother is an actor too.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was kind of janky. So Lorenz made sure, he shouted out his brothers and said their actual name.
Got it right.
So, yeah, that part. But so Lorenz Tate is a spokesperson for the Boys and Girls Club, like how Denzel was, and he actually is just connected on the ground with quite a few people in the Madison area. And so when Michael and them and everybody was raising money for this statue, he ended up being engaged that way. And then he made it a point to say, and he talked about it on the mic, that when this happens, I'm coming in town. I don't care what's going on. So he literally said, I came in from LA. We had to go into Chicago for something. And then they drove from Chicago up to Milwaukee, to Madison to be there for the event. So the event was followed by a white party. But so, the thing that was kind of interesting to me was the lack of Black elected officials at this event. I saw State Representative Supreme Moore Amakunde. He was there. I know State Representative Myers had a speaking engagement. And State Representative Sheila Stubbs, she represents the Madison area. But I was really taken aback, and I don't know where the breakdown in communication was, because I'm sure had people known, they would have hopefully, been prepared to be there. But the lack of African American legislators at this unveiling, past and present, like you would have thought you would have saw City of Milwaukee elected officials. You would have saw the mayor, the county executive. And so I don't know. I don't know at what point there was like that breakdown, but you just don't have the unveiling of, an African American woman. And, we've talked about this a little bit on the station before, is that this statue now becomes the first sculpture done of an African American woman to be placed on any state capitol in the United States. I was just getting ready to say that. Even in death, Vel Phillips is still managing to be a first. And so I just was really, really kind of surprised when I looked around to see who was there, that there were not more Black elected officials from at every level of government, uh, from uh, from across the state, quite frankly, at the event. But that aside, it was an amazing event. It was beautifully done. People were all dressed in white for the white party, but the statue was beautiful. And I got to pull up some information because a number of people were asking me about the artist who had done it. And I know that there was a comment about the fact that the artist, that was going to be his last uh, public installation. And so I don't know. And let me just look and see real quick, because somebody said they had heard that he had been sick and that there was, something going on with the gentleman who actually created the statue. So I'm gonna look into that. But I would just tell you that in the state of Wisconsin, all fourth graders at some point take a trip to the state capitol. I don't know, how that's set up, like if it's a DPI rule or what happens, but fourth grade is the grade that every, public education uh, outlet or school makes sure that their children make their way to the state capitol. To be able to go to the state capitol now and see the statue of this woman is going to be nothing short of phenomenal. And the one thing I appreciated is that they brought the two young sisters up on the stage who actually were the impetus to getting this statue. I've told people before, this whole thing materializes out of the George Floyd protest. And during the George Floyd protest, there were thousands and thousands of people that marched on the Wisconsin State Capitol. Thousands. And, you know, at some point, remember, statues was getting towed up. People were upset and taking things down. And, they the younger people that were outside, they ended up issuing a challenge to Michael Johnson over at the Dane County Boys and Girls Club to say, to say, hey, come and join us. Come out here and meet us in the streets. Because everybody's talking about, disband, y'all need to stop. No, you come out here. So he came out. They end up talking. They end up, going into the Capitol at some point. And, there was a picture of Vel Phillips in Governor Evers' office. But if you didn't deliberately try to bring Black art, in terms of, well, I shouldn't say Black art, but photographs and images of Black people into the Capitol, there were none. So Senator Taylor has always been somebody who, she made the Wisconsin Historical Society find her photos of Black elected officials, whether it was Ezekiel Gillespie, Lucian Palmer, different folks historically. They were like, well, we don't have that photo. Find one, because there's one somewhere. Find one, even if it's a sketch. And so she would pay the Wisconsin, we would rent photos from the Wisconsin Historical Society to ensure that at least in her office, when people came in, they would see a Black face historically connected to the state capitol. I talked about all of the photos of Black state senators that hang on her wall. She made sure that happened. And we talked about going through those halls and those in that building and never seeing any Black folks represented. You can see Indigenous or Native Americans because of Wisconsin's history, obviously depicted in murals, white people for days, statues, busts in murals, no people of color. So to have these two young sisters who said, somebody just sent me a text message. They said people from Milwaukee were never invited. I don't know. That's crazy. But I just, like I said, that stood out for me. Given obviously, her roots here in Milwaukee. That stood out. But either way, I hope that people will make it a priority. If you got some time and you can take a weekend and run up to Madison, it's about an hour and 15-minute drive. If you haven't been to the state capitol in a long time or before, the area has built up tremendously. It is beautiful in Madison. The campus, UW campus, is gorgeous. I mean, it's just pretty. We have one of the prettiest state capitals in the country, and ours is one of the few state capitals that was modeled after the U.S. state capitol. So you have the entrances on all four sides of it. It's nothing short of just incredible. So that's what I did. That was one of the highlights of what I did. I did some other stuff, but that certainly set it off for me. Debo, not that, I want to talk to you. How was your weekend? Absolutely fabulous.
Great shows down
Oh, Clinton Rose. How did that go? How was wait, I was getting ready to say how was Audie's performance, but I already had some people hit me up and they was like, that boy is cold. Yeah. So yeah. Okay. So I'm excited to hopefully get a chance to see this brother perform. Cause yeah, I heard who is Olin Franklin? Now, what does he do? Is local brother?
Yeah, Olin is really my family. But he's a man. I know, man. It's like 30, 40,000 of us strong. No, really. Um, but Olin Franklin. He's a drummer. He has a band, Olin Franklin, and an experience. And them guys are real nice. Real nice guys. Yeah.
They did a tribute to Stevie Wonder.
Mm-hmm.
Does he sing too?
No,
or
he don't sing. He just plays drums.
He's the drummer.
Yeah, he's the drummer.
Olin
Franklin.
Olin Franklin.
Yeah.
Okay, I've never seen
he like the young Eddie Butts, without the microphone.
Okay. Well, I gotta definitely check this brother out because I heard rave reviews about the Clinton Rose event. And then there was some other thing Lakeisha told me that was close to the area, some big reunion. Victor Burger.
Oh,
what is that?
wow.
Because I don't know anything about Victor.
That's a middle school, ain't it?
It's the current Martin Luther King Elementary. It used to be called Victor Burger. So I guess they did like some reunion.
Wow.
17 years. So what is it that anybody that went there just comes back to this? Keisha said like it looked like a mini Juneteenth. Yeah. It was so many people. Yeah. That's what she said. She said that the lady told her, I think lobster too, and was like, "Hey, come on over here and eat." And she said, fix your plate. Come on. So I had never heard of this event. So it's huge.
Yeah.
Well, who was Victor Burger?
That's a good question.
Let me look it up.
Maybe it's Victor who like burgers.
How you spell burger? Oh, I see it. He was a former Victor Burger was a former state representative, it looks like. No, of course he was not black. Of course he was not black. Um, he was an Austrian American socialist, politician, and journalist, a founding member of the Social Democratic Party of America, which is now the Socialist Party of America. And we actually have some socialists in the state capitol now. We have two, I think, or one or two. Um, that's crazy. And I will have to look it up. Okay, wait, this part is crazy. So I'm on Wikipedia. So he was born in 19 I'm sorry, he was born in 1860 and died in 1929 at the age of 69 here in Milwaukee. So by partner, it says Maida Berger and it says 1897, but there's no deceased date. Like, like she might still be living. Oh, but she was 37 years younger than him. Dang. He married somebody 37 years younger than, or it says partner, so I don't know if there's married. Well, yeah, she got the last name. 30, she's still alive. Yeah. That's what, according to Wikipedia, she is still alive. But she was 37 years younger than him. So some of y'all could have invited Mrs. Berger to the y'all could have invited her.
Makes sense.
Well, it depends on where you were. Like the Daughters of the Confederacy was responsible for a lot of the Confederate soldiers' names getting put on schools, trying to revive their image and all of this. So it really depends on like where you are, you know, who was coming up with these names. But that is interesting. Okay, well, I learned something new today. So Victor Berger, he was a member. No, and I said state capital. He was a member of Congress. So that's who the school was named after. All right, caller, I see you. Give me a sec. I got to take a quick break. A lot to talk about this morning. Michelle Bryant, WNOV, 860 AM, 106.5 FM. Say something real. Be right back.
One, two. Testing 1, 2. All right, party people in the place to be. The party is already started. And I got all my sisters and men. And I want this time. Oh, this is ladies.
Back to Say Something Real with your host, Michelle Bryant on 860 WNOV.
All right, family, welcome back to Say Something Real with Michelle Bryant. Let me go to the phone line. Had a caller held through the break. Hey, caller, what's happening? Hello?
Yes, hi there.
Hey, how are you?
Yeah, I'm all right. Yeah,
Is this Kevin J. Walker?
This is he.
What's
And
happening?
I was at the event in Madison,
Oh, okay.
and and what they did, they had what they call a Milwaukee. They had what they call a Milwaukee contingent that I was trying to find. Then I was told, oh, they were upstairs. I went to the VIP section, but what it was is that Lorenz Tate and his brother came up from Chicago. Lorenz Tate, the actor from Minister Society and Love Jones.
Mm-hmm. Most recently, Power. Yep.
Yeah, he was there, you remember. And so what happened is that I guess that's where all the VIP people were. And they told me they were the Milwaukee contingent, as they called it, were upstairs. So I went up there and I talked to Millie Colby, the granddaughter, and also the question of the person who spoke. What was Vel Phillips' son, Michael Phillips. And what it was that talking about Milwaukee representatives, Supreme Moore Omakunde, he was there, but he had to leave out early. But he was there because we spoke.
Yep. No, I saw him. I mentioned him on the radio this morning.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But no, like I said, it was held outside. It was nice. You know, the sun was a bit much, and then we went inside to the Capitol, and that rotunda was thunderous. Now, back in my younger days, I would have closed the party out, but that was then. This is now. So I left after 10 o'clock. It was supposed to end at 10, but they weren't even close to ending at 10, you know, because they were still doing the giveaways and stuff.
Yeah.
No, but it was quite an event, and there were a lot of people there and stuff. And like I said, having the actors come up from Chicago, that added a bit much to it too. And the woman that did the pledge, not the Pledge of Allegiance,
that song,
the Rockets Red Glare.
Yes,
yeah, her.
the song,
Yeah,
the national anthem. Yes, yeah, she was phenomenal.
So
she was phenomenal. Her voice was beautiful.
Yeah. And that's a hard thing to do too, you know.
It
of course,
is.
Whitney Houston.
It is. And she did it a cappella.
Oh yeah,
Well,
So anyway, but no. So we went there, and it was good. You know, we had it all up there. But like I said, but I agree with you. The Milwaukee contingent, they really should have separated them out or whatever, you know. But maybe I just wasn't in the loop, you know. But there were a bunch of Milwaukeeans there, but they were up on the second floor, I heard. So
I saw, like I said, a number of members of Delta Sigma Theta and the links from Milwaukee were definitely in the building. And thank you, bro. Thank you for the call. But a number of them were in the building, and at the event, you know. But like I said, it just stood out to me, the lack of Black elected officials. That part was crazy to me, that I didn't see, because outside of really 2 or 3, because no, I saw 4 Black elected officials, 2 from the Madison, or 3 from the Madison area, and Supreme was the only one I saw from Milwaukee that was a Black elected official. So just interesting. I noticed that as a part of it. Let me switch gears for a second, if I could. Right now, you will hear tons of people talking about the fact that it is the 60th anniversary of the 1964 Civil Rights Act. Okay. This legislation, which was intended to end discrimination based on race, color, religion, or national origin, is basically considered one of the most important pieces of legislation bills that was done on civil rights since Reconstruction. And remember, Reconstruction is that 12-year period after slavery was legally ended in this country in 1865. Well, 1865 was when everybody finally figured it out. 1863 was when the proclamation had been signed. But that period was only 12 years in which you saw Black people run for office. We got our first Black U.S. senator during Reconstruction, Hiram Revels, who ultimately goes on. He also was the president of Alcorn State University. And then, I think when Barack Obama became a U.S. senator, Barack Obama was the 6th Black person to be a federal, U.S., a U.S. senator. He was the 6th. So think about it. Hiram Revels, like in 1865, 1866, somewhere in there, 67, he becomes the 1st. When Barack Obama gets elected, he's the 6th. And we've only had 2 Black women be U.S. senators in this nation's history, one of whom is the current vice president. We've only had 2. And so this civil rights legislation did a number of things. But let me just do some backstory for a second, because when we talk about our history, when we explain to people, how we got here, when people start talking to you about the need to get rid of programs that are designed to level the playing field, when you have folks in your face telling you diversity, equity, and inclusion is unfair, when you have people telling you this bootstraps, nonsense about what you need to do as particularly Black folks and communities of color to be able to amass whatever it is you want to in the American dream. The conversation that I had last week with Teague Welly Smith from the Growing Milwaukee, that was talking about the Growing Milwaukee or Growing MKE project. And he laid out that whole piece on housing and how even as Vel Phillips and Father Groppy and all the people that worked so diligently to end housing segregation in Milwaukee, in Wisconsin, that at the same time that was happening, excuse me, legislators were in the back room crafting bills and rules and new policies that still would make it difficult for Black people and families of color to move into particular neighborhoods and communities. So think about modern day, what they did down in Florida, where they get the legislation passed to say that people with a felony record can vote. Because in some states, you catch a felony, your right to vote is taken from you forever. Okay? In some states. Florida was one of those states. They get the referendum, they get the people behind them, they are able to change that law. And as soon as they got it changed, everybody's celebrating. Millions of people with a felony conviction on their record are now, eligible to be returned to the voting rolls. And then Republicans in Florida said, not so fast. Wait a minute. They go and create a new law that says that you have to have paid all owed restitution in order to be able to vote. Now think about that. So you do all of this work. It took so much work, excuse me, to be able to get people with a felony conviction to be able to vote in this state. And I mean, a ton of Black people impacted by this because we are overrepresented, over prosecuted, over policed. So our numbers were staggering in Florida in terms of Black folks that were off the voting rolls. And some of this is done by design. If you go to work every day, even if you got a felony conviction in your past, some of these people, the conviction is 10, 15, 20, 30 years old. You go to work every day. You have now put yourself in a position to be able to either buy a home, you are a taxpayer, you engaged, you involved, but they still took your right to vote. Why? Because if I'm paying into the system, shouldn't I have the ability to elect my representation for this system? Excuse me. All of this is done by design. We need to keep as many people out of the process as possible when it comes to voting. So in the 1960s, and I'm taking this directly from the U.S. Department of Labor, their website. In the 1960s, Americans who knew only the potential of equal protection of the law, the potential, expected the president, the Congress, and the courts to fulfill the promise of the 14th Amendment. How many people know what the 14th Amendment is? What did the 14th Amendment do? I'm not going to tell you. You tell me. What did the 14th Amendment do? While you answering my question. In response, all three branches of the federal government, as well as the public at large, debated a fundamental constitutional question. Does the Constitution's prohibition of denying equal protection always ban the use of race, ethnicity, gender as criteria in an attempt to bring social justice and social benefits? All right. In June 1963, President John F. Kennedy asked Congress for a comprehensive civil rights bill induced by massive resistance to desegregation and the murder of Medgar Evers. So when we start talking about those trigger points, I have been to Medgar Evers' home, and when you stand in that driveway where he was gunned down, when he was getting out of the car, when you go into the house and you see the mattresses, if you go into his home right now, because it's now like a museum, the mattresses are still leaning up against the wall. Against the windows where they would get people shooting into their home. Medgar Evers, he was with the NAACP. He was out trying to register people to vote. He went all over the South doing this work. But his assassination, one of the galvanizing moments when John F. Kennedy says, okay, now look now, come on. We got to be able to figure out voting is now enshrined in the Constitution. But you got people that are killing people for trying to exercise the right to vote. And so Kennedy says, get me a civil rights bill. Get me a civil rights bill. That request, a lot of people believe, was a factor in Kennedy being assassinated that November, because he asked for this bill in June. He said, get me something I can sign that's going to stop some of this crazy stuff that we see around Black people in particular trying to vote. He makes that request in June. In November, he's assassinated. And what did I say when people talked about Donald Trump? And this is not who we are. And, we don't settle political differences, by attempting to kill presidents. Yes, we do. Yes, we have. What did I say? At least 3 U.S. presidents have been assassinated in our nation's history. We've only had like 45, 46 of them. At least 3. And then there have been attempts. So yes, this is a part of American culture. Not most recently, but it is a part. And this was just a few years before I was born. That Kennedy, and 1 year before I was born, that Kennedy was assassinated. So in my lifetime, and or somebody that's 61, yeah, you were born when a president was assassinated in this country. So let me keep going. Most people, LBJ is the name that most people typically associate with the Civil Rights Act of 1964, because he was the vice president to John Kennedy when JFK was assassinated. So he steps up and he becomes the president, okay? President Lyndon Johnson pressed hard with the support of Roy Wilkins and Clarence Mitchell. Do y'all know who Roy Wilkins is? Think NAACP. To secure the bill's passage the following year. In 1964, Congress passed Public Law 88-352. The Civil Rights Act of 1964 prohibits discrimination on the basis of race, color, religion, sex, national origin. Provisions of the Civil Rights Act forbade discrimination on the basis of sex as well as race in hiring, promoting, and firing. Prohibited discrimination in public accommodations. So when we talk about, this the Negro bathroom, which was usually filthy, grimy, nasty in the back somewhere. This the white bathroom. This the black water fountain or the colored water fountain. This the white people. And think about it. In most cases, it didn't say black. It said colored. That meant that no group of people, indigenous, Mexican, black, Puerto Rican, whatever other race you are, all of y'all got to use this water fountain. Only white people got their own. Just think about that for a second. Like every other colored person in this country was relegated to a certain category. And so what the 1964 Civil Rights Act did was say that no, in public accommodations, we not gonna have separate water fountains. You not gonna be telling black people you pay the same amount of money to sit on the bus, but you can sit in the back of the bus. And if the bus gets full and a white person wants your seat, you got to get up. This is in my lifetime, y'all. This is in my lifetime. So when people are looking around trying to tell me there is no racism, that there should be no work done to try to right the wrongs of the past by making sure we're giving people an opportunity who has systematically been denied and shut out opportunities. I'm telling these people BS. I'm calling BS on that. This is in the year I'm born that these things are happening. And it also is strengthened the enforcement of the Voting Rights Act. Of voting rights and desegregation of public schools. This is how monumental this piece of legislation was. The Civil Rights Act of 64, it's the benchmark legislation. The passage of the act ended technically the application of Jim Crow laws, which had been upheld by the Supreme Court in the 1896 case Plessy versus Ferguson. So Jim Crow was legal, and the U.S. Supreme Court said, yes, you can discriminate against people based on race in this fashion. In Plessy versus Ferguson, in which the Supreme Court held that racial segregation purported to be, remember that phrase we all know so well, of a certain age, separate but equal, was constitutional. It was constitutional to say black kids can't go to school with white kids, but we'll make sure y'all both got equal access to education, equal facilities, equal textbooks, equal money. None of that equal never happened. One of my dear friends, Donna, I would sit at her mother at her mother's table, and her mother would tell me about, how they would get the uniforms. She played basketball, and how their school couldn't get new uniforms. When the white kids got done with their uniforms, they got passed over to the black school. Everything they got in her schools was secondhand. So that whole concept of separate but equal was a bunch of BS. This is one of the things that the Civil Rights Act of 1964 helped to end. It was eventually expanded to look at other fundamental rights. So when people talk about, the right for people to marry who they love, the right for interracial marriages, there are a ton of things that springboarded off of the passage of the 1964 Civil Rights Act. It's a number of callers on the line. Let me bring them into the conversation. But I'm weaving something together here, y'all, because as Joe Biden is actually down at the Lyndon B. Johnson Museum, and he is talking publicly about the need to overhaul the U.S. Supreme Court. For folks that may say, no, we need to leave it, or, we need to figure out another way to try to address, some of the things that we see that are wrong. Remember, in 1896, the U.S. Supreme Court confirmed that racism was okay in this country. Let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Yes. Well, good morning, Miss Michelle Bryant.
Hey, JT, how you doing this morning?
I'm doing quite well, and yourself?
I'm good, bruh.
Okay. And good morning to all those other great people in the studio with you this morning. Good morning to you, gentlemen. Anyway, Michelle, speaking of assassination, when you said that 3 presidents was assassinated, I hope you included the one that was running for president, Robert Kennedy.
And I didn't include him because he was running, but you're right. But you're absolutely, and that's why I said and others. But yep, you're right.
And one more thing. Now, about a week after Donald Trump was supposedly had a bullet go through his ear, you notice when he moved his bandages, did anybody see any scars on his ear? I didn't see any damage to his ear whatsoever. So excuse me. He removed his bandages after 1 week. Went on wherever he was campaigning at. Said, yeah, they tried to kill me, but I healed okay. I'm all right. He didn't have no scar on his ear whatsoever.
Not one.
So I'm just. I didn't see one scar. One scar.
Not one.
Not one. You think, right?
Right.
So yeah, I just wanted to mention that real quick. But anyway, thank you for an awesome show, and keep on doing what you're doing because you're awesome, young lady, and you continue to have a good day.
Thank you so much, JT. Somebody sent me a text message. They said, Michelle, my child is in the car with me, and they want to know what 4 presidents have been assassinated. Let's start with Abraham Lincoln. That was in 1865, killed by John Wilkes Booth. James A. Garfield, killed in 1881 by Charles Guiteau, or Gatau. Not sure. I think it's Guiteau, though, the way you pronounce his name. William McKinley, killed in 1901 by Leon Zaglask. That's a hard name. And J.F. Kennedy, or John F. Kennedy, killed by Lee Harvey Oswald in 1963. And then to JT's point, there have been assassination attempts or assassinations, because Robert F. Kennedy, who was going to run for president, was also assassinated, JFK's brother. So thank you to the student who posed the question. Let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm a first-time caller to your show, and I like it a whole lot.
Well, thank you.
So I'm going to be brief and make 2 comments. Number one, on I'm kind of nervous, but the vice president runner up, I believe she's going to get this election, but I'm more concerned about her safety, like you said, being attempts on President life. My deepest fear is that somebody ought to I can't say the Republican camp, but you would think somebody going to be crazy enough to try and make an attempt on her life. Now, my second point is this. I'm an elderly gentleman, 71 years of age, but I'm happy about that. I like to watch movies on documentaries on the Temptations and Muddy Waters and uh, Etta James. I like to watch those movies that comes on TV, and they would show that when the Temptation would go southward, they had ropes separating the blacks from the whites. They liked the music, but they kept them separated. Likewise for Etta James, Muddy Waters, and all those groups, they had ropes to keep them separated. And because they liked the music, the ropes eventually come down. But I have this personal saying, and I'm going to let it go. We celebrate Juneteenth, but in my heart, we ain't free.
Mm.
And what we celebrating for when we ain't free? They still keep us in a submissive state, and we go around thinking we free. They give us the raggediest street in the city to celebrate Juneteenth, but they get Wisconsin Avenue and all those main streets. They won't let us celebrate down there. So that's my comment. Have a good day, and I still enjoy listening to your show.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the call. Let me go to break. I'll respond to a couple of things the caller said when we get back.
with your host, Michelle Bryant on WNOV.
All right, family, welcome back to the show. Taking a minute this morning to talk about the 60th anniversary of the 1964 Civil Rights Act and what this landmark piece of legislation, has meant and what we need to understand about it as a community and the threats to this legislation. When I was talking about assassinations and assassination attempts, thank you, Dion. He reached out. He said, hey, Teddy Roosevelt was almost assassinated in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And for folks that don't know, don't remember, well, you may not remember, certainly, because it happened in 1912. But just real quick, on October 14th, 1912, former U.S. President Theodore Roosevelt survived an assassination attempt by John Schrank, a former, they called it a saloon keeper, while campaigning for the presidency in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. The bullet lodged in Roosevelt's chest after penetrating Roosevelt's steel eyeglass case and passing through a 50-page thick single-folded copy of his speech titled Progressive Cause Greater Than Any Individual. That term, progressive, was being used in a speech in 1912 here in the city of Milwaukee, because people are progressive. That's an old term. But they talked about the fact that the individual who tried to assassinate him, he was immediately disarmed and captured. He might have been lynched had Roosevelt not shouted for Schrank to remain unharmed. Roosevelt assured the crowd that he was all right, then instructed the police to take charge of the guy who tried to kill him and make sure that he was not harmed. So think about that. This man is running for president, and they see the guy who tries to kill him. And Roosevelt is actually shot in the chest. He realizes that the crowd is getting ready to snap. What did they say? This man was most likely going to be lynched in Milwaukee, which we don't think a lot about lynchings in Wisconsin, in Milwaukee, although we know we had some. What does he say? Just don't hurt him. Just take him into custody. Remember what I said and how I talked about Donald Trump? His first instinct, fight. You don't know what's going on. You don't know who's in harm's way. You don't know who's been hurt already. And what JD? Jay, you want to say something?
Listen here. I've been hold my mule, as some of the old saints would say. Hold my mule. But listen, I've been saying the same thing, because normally in these days and times with all of the shootings and stuff going on, when shots go off and you hear shots, everybody scatter because of the narrative of how things are going in today's society.
Right.
What had me puzzled, and I didn't see a little Bobo and them get shot and seen blood everywhere.
Right.
And it was just the neck. So you mean to tell me that you can get shot in your ear? And he released a statement and said it was much bleeding.
Yeah.
Much bleeding.
He said,
much bleeding. And you put a KKK hat on your ear, and then I don't understand how you get grazed and there's no surgery.
Not a stitch.
But you get grazed by an AK bullet.
You could. I'll give you graze, but you didn't even have a stitch.
Listen, but I've seen an AK graze.
Okay.
This is right here in God.
Okay.
I've seen one. You're gonna have some type of something that got to be put back together if it grazed right because of how the bullet hit. Graze you. It's gonna take something off of you.
Right.
And then there's people that's shooting. You get grazed. You go down. Then you stand up. And you say fight again. And this is what I was telling people. You don't know if it's more than one shooter.
Exactly.
You don't know what's going on unless something is rocking in Denmark, man.
Here it comes.
Unless
Come on, conspiracy.
somebody go high and you go low.
Come on, conspiracy.
Unless
Come on, conspiracy theorists.
they
that.
told me 2 + 2 = 4, but this is not adding up, man.
Come on, conspiracy
I'm just
theorists.
saying, make it make sense to me. I thought it was me, but I'm like, hold up. If I hear shots and I know, man, that my life is in danger, and I see that stuff is happening, I'm not going to sit there. And even the people in the audience, if this wasn't premeditated, any loud bang, any loud something, people are going to scatter until they figure out what's going on.
Right.
But nobody scattered. They ducked down.
And I'm going to tell you, that part was crazy.
Like, I don't understand it. I don't.
That part was crazy. I did not understand. Like, when you look at the crowd,
come on.
Nobody, and like if you see him go down, nobody else goes down.
Look,
everybody else just standing there looking all goofy. I'm like, what?
You saw one dude stand up.
Yeah.
And look, he was like, oh.
Yeah, I mean, like the whole thing was weird. I certainly concur. But I just think that it also speaks to character. You know, you're talking about wanting somebody to be able to lead us in a crisis. I heard he was just talking about, you know, the possibility with Netanyahu's visit of a third, you know, World War III. And like trying to give people, you know, the idea about who do you want leading the nation if we see such a time as that. Not you.
Most definitely don't want this.
Not you. Yelling, fight, fight, fight. And you're not even concerned about, and that was the other thing, because you're not even concerned about the people that's here to support you today. No concern whatsoever. You didn't look around to see if anybody else was hurt or harmed. The Secret Service is trying to protect your fool behind, and you standing up, you know, all on top of the Secret Service with your arms out. I'm like, these people are trying to stop somebody from killing you.
You don't even know if the threat has been eliminated.
If there was, like you said, to your point, if there's more than one shooter, you don't know what's going on.
Unless
so here's Roosevelt, who actually took one to the chest. Took it to the chest and has the presence of mind to say, do not harm him. Take him into custody. The other thing that they talked about that Roosevelt did was they said, because he was an experienced hunter, and I'm going to say the word wrong, anatomist, I think is the way to say it, that he had concluded on his own that he was not coughing up blood. So he figured that the bullet had not reached his lung. So he says he delivers his speech. And in his opening comments to the crowd, he says, quote, "Friends, I shall ask you to be as quiet as possible. I don't know whether you fully understand that I have been shot, but it takes more than that to kill a bull moose." He was shot in the chest and still delivered his speech.
I'm sure being shot in the chest, there's much bleeding.
This dude, you know, for the most part, gets what you get when you get your ear pierced. I don't know.
This guy got an owie.
And yo, fight. I mean, just think about the type of man and leader and presence of mind and composure that you have when you standing on a stage with a bullet in your chest, and you have the presence of mind to keep this crowd calm so that this does not escalate and get out of control, so that nobody else loses their life, including the person who shot you. Think about this. And then this dude yelling, screaming, you know. And so they said, they looked at the x-ray after Roosevelt was finally taken to the hospital. The bullet had lodged in his chest muscle. And the doctors concluded that it would be less dangerous to leave it in place than to attempt to remove that bullet. Roosevelt carried the bullet in his chest for the rest of his life.
So I have a question for you. Has any of the doctor's report as far as with Trump, and
Boy,
came
go
out.
on. Stop
No,
playing.
I'm
Stop
just
playing.
asking because
Stop playing.
he said it was much bleeding.
Yeah, I know.
And I didn't see drips of blood on the floor or nothing like that. It was a little trickle that ran down his cheek,
Right.
like a tear.
Right.
Like if you stump your toe, you ow, and you get that little tear. That's what it looked like to me. But he said it was much bleeding. Again,
I mean, it's just questionable. So
I just want to ask you because I've been asking myself. So I said, "Self, what do you think?" And myself answered. I'm just letting you know. Myself answered. I thought it was me.
You did not say myself answered.
Myself answered.
Oh my God. Caller, I'll be there in a minute. You did not say and myself answered.
Yeah, myself
What did
answered.
yourself answer? What did
Myself
yourself
said,
say?
"Listen here, man."
Wait, was it the Tony Montana?
Yeah, it's like less than hell, man. I can't pull one over our sheep eyes, man. I tuck and tell you, I don't know, man. It's so suspicious. Suspicious is something different.
I can't stand you. Yourself answered.
Yeah, myself answered
in an Italian voice. Okay, not a problem. One last thing on the Franklin Roosevelt shooting. The shooter, who initially pled guilty to the charge of attempted murder, the trial judge was not convinced of his sanity, declined his plea, and he was found, the case was still brought to trial, but he was found not guilty by reason of insanity, and he was committed to an institution. So the difference in leadership. Let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening? Hello.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
I was listening to you and your guest, and I don't know where you guys might have you ever been up close up on some action, but I can remember somebody being shot at, and the bullet go through the car, hit one guy, skinned my brother on the neck now, and then hit the rearview mirror on the passenger side. And it did not. Hello?
Yeah, I'm listening.
He didn't get no blood, but it left a blister on his neck. I don't know if the boy would have been sitting back a little bit more, probably would have killed him, but it hit him on his neck. And when it hit the rearview mirror, the cat in the back seat got hit, and on the way to the doctor now, wasn't a lot of blood, and so the driver was just zooming, breaking all the laws, went to the wrong hospital, really, went to St. Joe's. That's when we really found out that most of all the trauma centers in the inner cities had been removed all across the country. You have to go to we used to have trauma centers, even at the little, down there on 12th Street. That was a trauma facility. All of those gone now. You got to go to Freighter. By the time you get out there, most folk done bled out.
But wait. Let me ask a question. Do you know what type of gun was used in this incident? Was it an AR-15?
No, I don't know what kind of gun it was, but
because I think that makes a difference.
I don't know what kind of gun.
If I shoot you, with a 22, with a 9, with an AR-15, all very different impacts and results. So I think that does make a difference.
The AR-15 and a 9mm are speeding fast bullets.
It's not the same, though, bro. It's not.
No, it's not. I'm not going to argue with you. It's not the same. But guess what? One bullet is faster, and another bullet is more heavier and got more
damage.
knockdown
The
power.
damage ability is different as well. So I'm just gonna say, and I'm saying this, you talk about, you don't know if anybody's been up close. My son's father was shot in the back of his head by some teenagers who were attempting to steal his dog when he was walking the dog at night. And that bullet is still lodged in the back of his head. That's my up close and personal.
No, I'm talking about gun violence. The actual scene.
No. I'm just saying, because we all have had, well, not we all, but there are many people that have had some type of experience with a family member being shot or wounded or nearly killed. We know how it goes. But I'm saying
now check this out.
We have to understand and appreciate that all of these guns and these weapons can produce very different results. But go ahead.
That's right. I agree with you. One bullet is faster, speeder. One bullet is slower and heavy. I don't think that was an assassin's rifle, but at the same time, whatever the little boy did, at that part of it, that part, believe you me, I don't think was staged. I think them people really lost their lives in that event.
Oh yeah, people did die. I believe that.
Right now, they could have been a sacrificial lambs. I don't know what that is. I mean, that's the same way with the boy that got shot down here. Okay, every police officer is not a Republican. Every police officer is not a conservative. You know, I don't know.
The majority of them are. The majority of them are.
Well, but hold on. I don't know if that was staged to get a riot going while the RNC was in town. I don't know, but I mean, these things come across people's minds when you're sitting around the table, and it didn't. Milwaukee really don't move like that. So it was like a bad, because we've been trying to find the dude that was in the argument with him, but we did find out that the dude that was down there was not a homeless cat down there in Tent City. He just appeared down there probably maybe about 9 months ago down there.
Wait. You're saying that Mr. Sharp was not a homeless person?
No, the man that got killed, sister.
That's the man who got killed. His name is Sharp.
Right. The
Sam
man that
Sharp.
got killed was homeless. He had a dog down there.
Right.
Okay. But the guy that that provoked the fight, he wasn't homeless.
Okay, that's what I was trying to figure out who you was
right.
talking about.
And so we've been trying to identify who this cat is and where did he go?
Yeah.
You understand? So that's been the main question. Where this dude at? But what we do know that he didn't live down there, and he wasn't homeless to that effect where he's lived in the, around the Valide area, the repairs of the breach, in the park,
But so this guy wasn't identified in any police reports because he was still standing there when the shooting happened.
Still an open investigation, and I don't think that we're going to be able to get any of that right now. Any public records, because the guy that did the shooting is not from this state, and the guy that was killed is dead, and the guy that provoked the fight to make the boy run out the tent, hit the guy and he run out the tent, and that's and this is, we don't know if that was staged. So I mean, there's a lot of conspiracy theories, and then when you ain't never been hit or slapped or cut or beat no kind of way, any kind of blood is a lot of blood. So you can imagine dude talking about a lot of blood. He ain't never been cut or nothing. But anyway, I seen a little thing where they had a tomato patch on the side of his neck. He smashed the ketchup thing, I guess. I don't know. Some what you call that
like
AI, but
the little fake like the fake blood packs or something?
No, this is like they had a little.
Okay, I got what you're saying.
You didn't see that?
No, I didn't see it, but I.
Right, well, ketchup would be too thick to run the way it was running on dude. But it don't make me no difference. We got bigger fish to fry right now. We got a big election that's coming up. We got all kind of things that's transpiring.
Who you voting for? Who you voting for?
Huh?
Who you voting for?
I'm voting for Donald Trump.
All right.
Now check this out. But check this out.
What?
We got something going on that's serious. We got electrical automobiles, and we got the Vision 1 that's taking place in our country right now. And this is something that's really serious. These electric vehicles, do you understand that if they tell you to shelter in place or they just shut down a grid, you can't charge them things, you stuck in place, you going to shelter in place right where you at? This is a form of control, and it sounds like we're saving the planet. Everything comes in, sounds good. Just like these bump stops. We think, these bump outs, I'm sorry about that. We think that they were a good thing for reckless driving. That was to get the people on board. But this is all over the country. It's in neighborhoods where there is no speeding, where there is no, speeding issues. This is to control, to break us down. And if you can't see that, then just keep on doing what you're doing. And I ain't talking to you per se, but the listeners that's behind this, with like your favorite word, nonsense. Okay? Because once they control us, once they tell you what you look electrical vehicle, you can't scooter move. Even with a gas car, Jack, you can go somewhere and get make you some.
But what about if we just do the hybrid version? You okay with the hybrid of the electric
hold on,
vehicle?
hybrid version. When I say version is just as bad because we're giving power to the real cause, which is electrical. See, the electrical thing is where they control you at. Same way with your telephone.
But we have the ability to actually harness solar energy, and that's the sun. That's free. Like if we really wanted to,
you can't harness enough energy in one of them big batteries.
Yes, you can. I mean, yeah, you can. You can.
So how far you gonna go before night catch you, or the thing run down and it run out and you somewhere on a dark road and like you?
Because the way it would be, the way it's done is that it is charging all day that you have sunlight. It's constantly charging. Every time there's sunlight, it's constantly charging. There are technologies that are already in place like that. That literally, if you look at the way the Tesla, and I gotta go, bro. I appreciate the call. But if you look at the way the Tesla is designed right now, the way that roof panel is, if they made that solar and have the ability to continuously charge that battery while this car is just parked, moving around, operational, whatever, you could actually not have to have the amount of charging stations. But see, ultimately, there's going to be money in the charging stations. I get that piece. I understand that frustration. And I understand the serious concerns about what happens if the power grid goes down. We've seen it in other states. Having gone to South Africa and them doing the rolling blackouts, because over there it's just about corruption and, people not doing what they need to do to have strong electrical infrastructure or energy infrastructure. And so you get on the elevator in South Africa, if you didn't pay attention to the text message that they sent out saying that you're in the section that's getting ready to have rolling blackouts, your behind is stuck in the elevator. And you could be stuck in the elevator for hours or all day. Restaurants had to shut down because of rolling blackouts. And this is a way of life. This is how they live. Everybody in Cape Town, you're going to be hit by a rolling electrical outage for some portion of the month. This week, we over here in Hillside. Next week, we over by the Brewer Stadium. But it happens, so I get it. But you also cannot negate the damage that's being done to this world by emissions from vehicles. We got to figure out a way. Just to completely say no to this technology, that's just not, that's not smart at all. You dying over here? You all right? Okay. I know. Sound like somebody. Granddaddy with a snuff can. So yes, the snuff can. Let me take a break. I'm just saying, dude. I gotta take a break. I'll be right back with Michelle Bryant, WNOV 860 AM 106.5 FM. You know which one? So I can take a call. All right. Am I back? Oh no, I said, can I take a call? Yeah. See? Mind your business. Carvey, mind your business. Somebody, no. Yeah, you Harvey. And I love somebody had texted me earlier that said my policy. All right, family. So we taking a long way around this morning to have some conversations that I think we need to have about the significance and importance of voting and why we have to be engaged, why we have to be at the table, why we have to I'm sorry, I'm just getting a text message. Okay. Anyway, why we have to to understand what's happening around us. And when we don't understand history and how all this stuff is interconnected, you don't have an appreciation necessarily for what you see today. You don't understand how we are impacted down the road. And so when Joe Biden is out today and talking about the fact that, oh, and wait, before I do any of that, because this came across and I wanted to make sure I mentioned it. Colin Powell, one of the Republicans that most Black people, give a pass to, love Colin Powell regardless. His wife has passed away. An announcement just came out that Alma Powell has died. She was 86 years old. Alma Powell was from Birmingham, Alabama. And I'm not sure. Let me see what kind of information they give. But the former or the late Secretary of State, they wrote that wrong. Of the former Secretary of State, Colin Powell, his wife died at 86. Death was confirmed. The Powells were married for nearly 60 years. And Alma was by her husband's side. Oh, that's right. It was late. I keep forgetting Colin Powell's gone. Alma was beside Colin's side during his remarkable and historic military career. The two met on a blind date in 1961, shortly before he was deployed to Vietnam as a military advisor. He later rose to become the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff under President Ronald Reagan and the Secretary of State during George W. Bush's administration. 4 months after the Powells were married, he was sent to Vietnam, leaving Alma to navigate the first few years of life as a newlywed alone, which she later called the defining experience of her lifetime. At the time of her passing, Powell was listed as chair emeritus of America's Promise Alliance, a nonprofit founded by her husband that seeks to help at-risk youth by coordinating the efforts of a cross-sector association of community organizations, businesses, government organizations, that were at the table to help with this. Alma Powell is survived by her 3 children, Michael, Linda, and Anne Marie, and their families. So Colin Powell's wife has passed away, Miss Alma Powell. All right. What are we doing back? Okay, let me get, we got a caller that wanted to get in on the conversation. Let's get them in. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Hello?
Yes,
Can you
hello.
hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right. Yeah, I'm calling, and this is like a real public service message because this attorney named Attorney Ren Taylor. And is it okay if I give his phone number?
Well, what's it about? What's going on?
Well, what he wants to do is he wants to talk to. He's entertaining a class action lawsuit against the city of Milwaukee for okay, here, let me read it to you. Okay, it says if the city of Milwaukee foreclosed on you and sold your house for a profit, you have a case. If you purchased a house from the city of Milwaukee and they foreclosed on you and you are still paying for the foreclosure, you have a case. If you have purchased the city of Milwaukee home and inherited debt from the previous owner, you have a case. If you purchased a home from the city of Milwaukee and was unaware of a raise order on said property and it was torn down and you had to pay for it and was not compensated, you have a case. And then I have his number here.
So let me do this. Give me the number because I want to talk to him first. Because I'm gonna just say this. I don't know. I don't know this attorney. Sometimes people coming to help us. Sometimes people coming to take advantage of us. I don't know. So let's vet them and figure out what's going on and what all of this is about. So do me a favor. Go ahead and get a number, and then I'll reach out to
It's
them.
414-810-2678.
810-2678.
2678.
All right.
810-2678. Rian Taylor.
All right. Thank you, bro. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right, family. All right. Am I taking a break or are we going? I'm good. I can just keep. Oh, we're going to break. Oh, the contest is coming up. Do we have our winner yet or are they calling in? Okay. My sheets. All right, family. Just doing some logistical stuff. I know that there are folks that have heard the cue for Let's Make a Deal. One of my favorite games because you get to be in control of whether or not you walk away with some prizes. So just so folks know. And can I get the other sheet that tells me everything that's in the package? Oh, here? Okay, cool. That's it. Thank you, man. All right, y'all. Sorry about that temporary housekeeping. But let's make a deal. Let's make a deal. The game show that you get to select doors 1, 2, or 3. Prizes behind those doors, possibly, if you lucky, if you pick right. What is available, you say? 2 tickets to Black Arts Fest MKE happening next Saturday on August, or is it this Saturday? Is this Saturday? This coming Saturday, August 3rd. 4 tickets to the Wisconsin State Fair. 2 tickets to the Harbor Park Jazz Rhythm and Blues Festival, which is happening on Saturday, August 17th, featuring Jonathan Butler. Tickets to the Wisconsin Dells Park. I might want to do that. Overnight stay at Red Roof Hotel anywhere in the country. But if you pick wrong, study long, pick wrong, and you pick a door that potentially has nothing behind it. So we're going to make sure y'all pick the right door. We got a contestant. We ready, Rose? All right. You ready? All right. Hey, caller.
Hello.
Hey, how are you today?
Good.
Are you calling in to play Let's Make a Deal?
Yes, I am.
Wonderful, wonderful. Who am I speaking with?
Audie Harris.
Hey, Audie. All right.
There.
So you know how this goes. You have an opportunity to pick door number 1, door number 2, or door number 3. Now, I always tell people I get a really bad cough if they run up on the wrong door. So I'm not cheating, but I do get a bad cough. If somebody's walking up on the wrong door. So Miss Audie, go ahead and pick a door. Door number 1, door number 2, or door number 3.
Number 3.
Number 3. You got 2 tickets to this weekend's Black Arts Fest MKE.
Oh, good.
Congratulations. Which station just made you? Oh, wait. Who you taking with you to the Arts Fest?
Who am I taking?
Yes, ma'am. Did you say you wanted me to go with you? What you say?
Yeah, you can like.
No, look, I won't be messed up. I'll let you take somebody you really want to hang out with. But which station made you a winner, Miss Audie?
WNOV 860.
All right, hold on a second so we can get your information and make sure you get your tickets, okay?
Okay.
All right, thank you. She said, yeah, you can go if you want to. So nice, because I would have been like, girl. I'm sorry, what? You said I would have took somebody? Of course I would. Of course I would have. All right, y'all. So let me get back to weaving this moment, if I could, for just a second. All right. Wait, hold on. The police got called to a shooting by Whole Foods. We shooting by Whole Foods? I can't with this community. I can't, man. Oh my God, Farina Brooks posted on Facebook that her car got hit. Huh? They were shooting at Pizza Hut. Pizza Hut where?
76 in Burlock.
It's still a Pizza Hut? Where Pizza Hut at? 76 in Burlock. And they were shooting over there. Did somebody get hurt?
Yeah, 2 people got shot. One of them was life threatening.
Just let me digress for just a second. We were just talking. I I can't with these people in this community sometime. This is so crazy, y'all. I looked at Farina posted on Facebook. Farina, who does a lot of great work out here in the community, that her car was parked outside, and somebody tore up her car. And like y'all, like the level of damage is so ridiculous that you're like, what was you doing to tear up a car in this manner? Like, it looked like it had been through a wrecking, like it got hit by a semi. I can't. People work so hard to have what to get what they have, and her car, y'all, like, go to Farina. If y'all know Farina Brooks, go to her Facebook page and look at her car. She posted this 10 hours ago. She said, somebody just hit my car and drove off. Thank God it was parked and nobody in it. Shaking my head. But y'all, the impact was so great. It broke out the complete back window. And the tire, like the whole back bumper is gone. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. How you hit a car that bad? Oh, wait, hold on. Yeah. How do you hit a car? Look at this girl's car. How you do that? How do you do that? And I can't even imagine what their car had to look like that they were able to drive away. The young sister that was in here. Yeah, I'm just saying. The young sister that was in here last Friday, who is running for State Representative Lakeisha Meyer's seat in the 12th Assembly District, Katrina Morrison. Katrina was supposed to interview with me earlier in the week and ended up having to cancel that interview because her car was stolen while she was visiting her aunt, I think over near Palmer, at like 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, broad daylight. Her car was stolen. And when she got the car back, they broke out every window on her vehicle. It was a little SUV. They broke out every window. And then it looks like somebody got on top of the hood of the car and just stomped on the hood. And you could tell like they were stomping on the window shield, trying to break it, kicking the window shield. Well, why would you do this? I do not understand. It's people that wake up in neighborhoods drama free. Unless they had drama in their house, drama free. There is no yellow tape. There is no, police presence. People just getting up. They just getting up and going about their life. How can we continue to have a constant barrage of foolishness and ignorance where people do not value? If you don't value nobody else's life, value your own. And I know I'm talking to the wrong crowd, the wrong room. I know I am. But it's so frustrating to me. Like, people send me stuff all day long. Look at this story. Look at this story. This is crazy. Oh my God, did you see this? This happened over here. I can only imagine what it must be like for law enforcement and the emergency responders and the Von Mazes that show up at these scenes, like, and then I understand how people become desensitized to it all. But don't y'all want to wake up in a situation where it's just regular? Nothing happened last night. Nobody lost their life. Like, yellow tape is not like a part of the landscape.
That would be lovely to see, but the whole scary thing is and I was having a conversation with someone, and they said something, and it made me think, and it stuck with me. They said, if these are the good old days, after a while, are we in trouble? And that made me think, like, wow, like, I mean, like how you hear the older people say, back in the good old days, it was this and this and that, and we did this and we hung out. I remember back in my good days how we used to sit on the front porch and hang out at nighttime, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning with no issues and nobody trying to run up and rob you and outside having fun playing. You can't do that now. So those was the good old days. Unfortunately, the times that we live in now is going to be the good old days, and you see how bad it is now. Just imagine how it's going to get.
I, you know, even if it doesn't get any worse, it can't stay like this.
Yeah, I totally agree.
If we don't see a peak, and I keep trying to figure out what's that thing that gets you to care about you, because it was something I would think that was you talking, Jermaine, but people not having any real life expectancy for themselves.
Yeah.
I'm glad I made it to 18.
Yeah.
I'm glad I made it to 25.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about, so one of our colleagues, Kwaku Romeo, the blacksmith, he is over at the Olympics right now, posting, and look like he's just having a ball.
Yeah.
He's like, look, y'all, I'm trying to send some better pictures, but he just doing it.
Yeah.
And I had looked at going to the Olympics because I've never been. I want to go. I want to see, and I really wanted to see Shikari and this other brother that's a track star. I wanted to see them compete. But when you realize that you got like the whole world for a playground for the most part, and you can do so much in life, but there are people like their whole life is 15 blocks around their house, and the biggest highlight of your day is a new pair of gym shoes and some expensive jeans, and a bottle. Like we turning up. Like, if that's what you call turn up, let me show you what turn up look like for real.
Right.
Cause you missing it, fam.
Yeah.
This right here, getting drunk or drinking, and some clothes, that's not turning up. And I wish there was a way I could like just drag all of these people, just like, let me take you here, let me show you this, let me expose you to that.
Yeah.
And maybe that changes how you get up in the morning and what you on in the course of the day.
That's true. I really believe if you change a person's atmosphere, you can change their mind. Because for me, and I'm just speaking from my experience, I was raised up in a great home, 2-parent home, saw a lot of great stuff, but I wanted to jump off the porch early. I jumped off the porch, got out here and saw things that I shouldn't have saw. And what happened, once I got caught up in that lifestyle, things like that, once I started to change my surroundings and the people I was hanging with and places I was going and things I was doing, my mindset changed. Once my mindset changed, wherever I went to was now predicated off of how my mind was. So now it's certain places that I don't go to because of where I'm at now in life. But that all started with me changing my surroundings. And I believe that a lot of these guys, if you show them something different, give them something to hang their hats on, give them something to hold on to, I really believe that some of these guys really just need to see a glimmer of hope. And if they can see it, then they can believe. But that's where it starts, though. It starts with seeing it. And if you see, hey, it's a possibility that I can, then you'll do.
Well, we got to figure it out. And I mean, this is an age-old question. How do we rein it in? How we pull people back? And like if we hear police over by the house where we at, it's like what? Because it's an oddity. So we automatically assume it's an ambulance because it's a lot of seniors in the area. You don't think gunshots, you don't think gunplay. Like what is going on? So I just had to just say that because I was so I felt so bad for her this morning. And like I said, as somebody who, I said that before, every car I have owned but one, Okay, I put a picture of her car. Somebody's like, Michelle, show me the car. Like, what you talking about? But every car I've had but one has been hit by a drunk driver in this town or a reckless driver. Every
That's
car.
crazy.
Every car. My Lincoln got totaled. I loved my Lincoln. And I was so mad I wouldn't buy another one because they pissed me off. I was like, y'all can't tear up my stuff. So now you hit that Jeep, me and you gonna fight.
Oh yeah, we jumping.
We gonna wrestle with it.
We jumping up.
What? The Jeep did get hit. The taco truck man hit my Jeep with his no insurance.
Lord,
Yeah.
I hate went high and low, man.
And then, well, look, see, let me not get sidetracked.
Don't do it, man.
I was about to get, because he started lying. Somebody, he didn't hit it. And I'm like, bro, they saw you out the window, fam. We got it on tape.
I'd have been like cameras.
Oh, wait. And then I ended up seeing my red paint on the side of his taco truck right here on Capitol Drive.
I'd have been like, man, you got to give
me.
I
said, but that's my red paint on my Jeep right there on your truck. I'm not insured. Well, let me call the city on you then, because you shouldn't even be out here. But I'm just sorry.
She went down the rabbit hole.
I'm just saying.
Like Elmer Fudd.
Raggedy.
I'm hunting for rabbits.
Let me do this for a second. I did all of that this morning, talking about the civil rights, how important legislation is, and how the major changes that we have seen as a community have been because of laws being changed or laws being enforced, because of people who ran for office, who was willing to do the tough work. I'm going to circle all the way back. I didn't forget the first time caller who said, Michelle, I'm worried about Kamala's safety. I'm worried that somebody may try to assassinate Kamala Harris or, do something. I remember when Barack Obama ran for office, that was the chief concern that so many Black people had about this brother running for office, that they did not want him to run. Black women in particular. My mama was in just a tizzy that somebody was going to do something to Barack Obama. And while I wasn't nearly as vocal, I actually wrote about it though. When I was interviewed, a news affiliate, a national news affiliate, I happened to be somewhere and they was asking the question, and I was one of the people they asked the question about him running for office. And I said, I fear for this brother's safety. But I actually had an opportunity to have a conversation with people, about that whole assassination fears. And folks were like, you can't be scared. What's going to happen is going to happen. You put things in place, obviously, to be safe, but you cannot be scared. Scared people don't win. Scared people don't change their circumstances. Scared, I looked at Simone Biles last, in the Paris Olympics, and they just said she's the first woman in history to ever do like a triple flip on the beam. But this girl had, what did she say? She had the twisties, mental health issues. So she had to step back. If she had remained scared to come back, she could have never did what she just did. So we can't be scared for Kamala. Kamala understands what she's signing up for. We can't be scared for her. Let's get out here and go to work for her if that's your candidate. But don't be scared. I learned a long time ago, the stuff that I do on this radio, I'm going to tell you, one time I had some bros show up outside after a show I had done because they were so worried about what I had said on the air that somebody outside of this community might want to harm me. And then bros was outside when I got off the air. But I told them, fam, I'm all right. Because, as Dr. King said, I'd rather stand on my knees. I'm sorry, I'd rather stand than die on my knees. You can't be scared, y'all. You can't be scared. Let me go to break. I'll be right back.
to Say Something Real with your host, Michelle Bryant, on 860 WNOV.
All right, family, welcome back to the last few minutes of the show. So I said everything I said this morning. Hey, Keith, how you doing this morning?
Good morning.
I said everything I said when I started the show this morning in relationship to highlighting the 60th anniversary of the Civil Rights Act, 1964 Civil Rights Act, to say this. Joe Biden, I gotta stop that smacking. That just drives me crazy. Joe Biden is talking about shifting the court, the Supreme Court. He talked about possibly having 18-year terms as opposed to, a life appointment. He talked about the fact, in terms of some of the decisions that they made, that no president would be given immunity for crimes committed while in office. And there have been a number of people said that, no, don't change the court's makeup numerically. Because if you expand it, then the next, person that gets in the Republican, then they'll just do it. And we'll just be doing tit for tat, tit for tat, tit for tat. One of the things that I'm going to say is that we cannot leave this court in its current format. When we have not been able to trust the courts, what did I say? Plessy versus Ferguson, 1896. The Supreme Court affirmed racism in this country. Said it was fine, as long as it's equal, separate but equal. When you have somebody that's a heartbeat away from the presidency in a J.D. Vance, who is saying that I believe that women should have to stay in an abusive relationship, and Donald Trump saying, I believe women should be punished who make decisions about their own reproductive health. We are getting to a point in this country where the only place we will have to turn for protections is the courts. Our justices that do not come to the bench with personal, ideological, and political agendas. But the first thing we have to do is appreciate that you got to vote, that you absolutely have to vote. You have to be a part of the process, because the decisions are going to be made whether you show up on Tuesdays in February, April, August, and November, whether you show up or not. And those decisions are going to impact everything in your life from cradle to grave. Why wouldn't you have a say? You're not going to go sit in a barber chair and just let the barber cut your hair any kind of way they want to. You're not going to go to a restaurant and sit down and just say, feed me whatever you want to. You want to say. Why wouldn't you want to say in one of the most important things you'll ever do, which is to vote? So I'm just saying, pay attention, pay attention, pay attention. But yes, that quote, I'd rather die on my feet than live on my knees. I got a caller. Let me see if I can get them in real quick. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Hi, morning. I just wanted to call because you mentioned the amendments to the Constitution. Did you actually want somebody to say something? Because I got a couple things real quick.
Well, yeah, I talked about the 14th Amendment. Go ahead. Remember, we up against the clock, though.
Yeah, 13 is emancipation. 14 is a little longer, but it's real quick. Basically, it extends civil rights, like from the Bill of Rights to blacks, so that now you have all of the rights on the like especially 4th and 5th, but everything, life, liberty, property, all that stuff, and all that stuff about the getting rid of, so you can't hold the government responsible for paying the debts of former slaveholders and stuff like that. And then the last one, the 15th, is, I think that's the one where you actually extend full rights in other ways too. I can't remember. But about the environment, real quick, you have to have minerals from the ground. You have to mine the minerals in order to get the solar and the hydro and all these other natural. So that's a trade-off too, because a lot of environmental people say, well, we don't want to mine, but we have all the stuff we need in the free world. We wouldn't need to depend on the Communist Party in China. So we actually have this stuff all over the free world. And it's just we have to do it. And I understand you have to do it cleanly, because the only way you can get these little batteries and stuff is to actually harvest these very special minerals. You know what I mean?
Nope, I got you.
To get
So
those batteries and stuff.
Let me do this. So I'm up against the clock. Okay. I'm going to circle back on this conversation, though, because I literally had a couple of people text me and say, Michelle, we need to have the EV solar conversation. We don't do enough of it. Yeah. So thank you so much. Right. I appreciate the call. All right, family, I'm gonna get out the way. My man, Mr. Paris, is sitting here, arms folded, looking like he got something serious to talk about this morning. Let me say thank you to Mr. Ride Out. Appreciate you, bro. Harvey, I appreciate you with your snuff can over there.
The snuffleupagus.
He got that stuff. All right, family. I'll talk to y'all tomorrow. Peace.
Well, like soldiers, some revolution. To our word, no solution. And they're speaking words, some healing words, some feeling words. Baby, yeah. Say what you want, girl. You know that I need you.